Hi everybody. So this is part one of the Utterback videos, Mastering the Dynamics of Innovation. This book is pretty old. It was written I think in 1995 or 1996, and it goes through a series of examples for each chapter to substantiate the research and the claims that, that James Utterback makes. I really like Utterback. He and Christensen were collaborators, and Christensen is mentioned throughout the text, where he took a lot of Utterback's ideas and kind of continued to look into them and continued to reinforce the research and the thinking. In chapter 2, it's really all about the dominant design and the breakout of the dominant design and how that impacts the rest of the innovation and process within an organization. So the dominant design is where the product design is basically cemented. So the design that that the marketplace chooses for whatever reason, and there's a lot of different examples in the book where other things affect the choosing of the dominant design that may not have been just sort of a free-for-all with, you know, the marketplace. And that doesn't really matter. It just is what it is. And at the point where the dominant design is established, the requirements of the many basically are satisfied. So it's not a custom product. It is not something that is, you know, for a minority. It may not be the perfect product, and that, you know, Utterback really kind of cements that in for us, that it may very well be the one that, you know, people just decided to get behind. Maybe there was a supply chain that supported it. Maybe the approach of the manufacturer was better, reached out to suppliers and partners, and people started leveraging that particular design, and therefore it went forward. So there was a lot of different reasons why a dominant design was established. But as you can see by the graph, this is the classic Utterback graph. This happens to be the automotive one. You can see that the number of operators peaks in about 1923. And at that point, Dodge introduced the all-steel closed body design, which became the dominant design in the automotive industry in 1923. And almost immediately afterwards, you see the decline of the operators in the automotive space. So the book talks a lot about the different types of designs that were in place. They had electrical, they had steam engine, they had the internal combustion engine. They had lots of different designs that were in place. And when Dodge introduced this all-steel closed body, that was it. This is what they decided, you know, from a marketplace perspective to go forward with. And so all the other people, you know, all the other operators that could not get to that dominant design for whatever reason, just basically fell away. And you see that, you know, the statistics, 50% of all products were all steel and closed body. This was, I think, by 1926. And then you see down by somewhere around 1930, 80% of all the U.S. products were the all steel closed body. So very quickly, you're just getting to what it's going to be. And that dominant design signals the peak of the competing firms. So at the peak, there were just slightly short of 75, but down toward, you know, where we ended up settling, we're closer to like the 20 different suppliers. And the one important thing about this is that there is a shift from product design to process design. So this is one of the important things that we're going to talk about in more detail, but it's really about the fact that we are no longer doing product innovation. So we've figured out what it is we're going to make. We have decided on, you know, at least the base features and function of the product, and now we're going to start focusing on the production of the product and how to make that competitive. So, because obviously, once you get down to the 20 suppliers, everybody's making the same thing virtually, and we've got to make sure that we have the most competitive offering in order to move forward in the marketplace. The dominant design also has a powerful impact on future innovations. So this is kind of along the lines of our diffusion of innovation. These are the consequences that occur when a new innovation comes into the space, and they don't explore it as thoroughly as Rogers does, but here we hint at the idea that the typewriter introduced all kinds of new business functions and a new workforce. So, and Courier obviously built on that as well. But this kind of continues to reinforce the readings from earlier, where Utterback is also recognizing that there is more than just an impact on the production and process of a particular product. It is about, the culture and the business organization around that product and how it changes based on these new innovations. So that is the end of Utterback Chapter 2. That's basically all we have to say about that. And we will come back with Chapter 4 of Utterback.